Hello, my name is Paul Miners and welcome back to another one of our Asana training videos. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up and use Asana as a simple sales CRM. I think this video is going to be perfect for anyone that's new to or already using Asana, but you don't yet have a proper CRM, something like Pipedrive or Salesforce or HubSpot. Maybe right now you're just using your email or a simple spreadsheet, but you want a better way to manage the opportunities that you're currently talking to at the moment. In that case, I'll show you how we can customize and use Asana to better keep track of all the prospects you're talking to. If you have any questions at the end of this video, please feel free to leave me a comment below. And if you would like one-on-one help with setting up or optimizing Asana for your business, maybe you need some training to improve the adoption and usage within your team. If so, then click the link in the description below to learn more about our Asana consulting options and to book a complimentary introductory call with our team. Okay, let's get into this video, how to use Asana as a sales CRM. Now let me start by briefly talking about whether you should in fact use Asana as a sales CRM, because Asana isn't actually meant to be used for sales. At its core, Asana is a project management tool, and I'm of the opinion that there are better options out there if you are looking to set up a sales CRM. We do consulting all the time on Pipedrive, for example, and you can go back to my channel and have a look at all the Pipedrive training videos that we have on offer. A tool like Pipedrive is much better suited to managing leads and sales opportunities, and it has more features that you would expect to have in a proper sales CRM. But you may prefer to use something like Asana because maybe you're already using Asana right now, you're already familiar with it, and you don't want to sign up to a completely separate tool. Now that's absolutely fine. That's what I'm going to show you in this video, is how to customize Asana to be a sales CRM. And I think Asana is a great option if you do want to work inside one tool, and if you're happy having a fairly simple CRM if you don't need all the functionality of a proper CRM like Pipedrive. And you might even find you use Asana temporarily until you're ready to graduate to a more robust CRM in the future. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, here I am inside our Asana demo account. I'm going to set up a project from scratch, so feel free to start and stop and follow along with me as we go. I'm going to start by clicking Create up here, and we're going to create a brand new project. We're going to create a blank project so I can talk through all the steps, and I'm just going to call this Sales CRM. I'm going to make this public to the rest of our team, and we're going to go ahead and click Continue. I'm not going to follow any of the recommendations here. I'm just going to, well, actually, I'll leave it as is, but let's just go ahead and create this project. So here's my blank project ready to go. Now, for a sales CRM, rather than working in this list view, I actually think it's going to be more useful to work in the board view up here. So we can set up a Kanban board with different columns or stages we're going to move our prospects through. So I'm going to have a section or column here called New Prospect. We're then going to move into Contact Made, and obviously you can customize these stages and the wording to be whatever you want. I'm just setting up fairly simple CRM stages here. So New Prospect, Contact Made, Meeting Arranged. Let's have Needs Defined, Offer Sent, and we'll do one more, Waiting for Payment. These are actually very similar to the stages we use in my business. So when we create a new prospect, which we're going to do with a task, so let's just say we've got John Smith here, we're then going to be able to move this task or this prospect through these various stages so we can see where our prospects are at, who we've got booked for meetings, who we've sent offers to, who we are waiting to receive payment from. So I think that's a nice, very visual way of setting up your CRM. And because this board view is sort of the preferred way that I want to look at this project, I'm going to right click up here and I'm going to save this tab, this view, as my default. I could even rename this stage, this tab if I want to sales pipeline. There we go. Now, a good CRM should have a place where we can capture important details related to the prospect. And at the moment, if I click on this prospect, let's move him back there, I've got this description area where I can type information in, but it's going to be more useful and more organized if I set up fields. So if I close this and I come to the Customize menu up here, I can add fields to this particular project. Now, this will require you to be on a paid Asana subscription, at least the starter plan. Feel free to click the link in the description below. Contact us if you'd like to purchase your license through Minaco. We will make sure we give you the best price, discount on Asana's retail price, and you can purchase through us, and we can offer some complimentary support as well. So let's create a new field. And when you create a field, you can choose from various types of fields. You can set up drop-down menus, you can input dates, or in this case, I'm going to use the text option, and I'm going to set up a field called email. We want somewhere to put in the person's email. Let's also create a new field, same again. Let's do a text field again, and let's do phone, because we want to put their phone number somewhere. A good CRM should also allow us to capture the value of the opportunity so that we can actually report later on what's the value of the deals or opportunities that we've closed. So for that, I'm going to use the number option, and I can change the number type to a currency here. And so I'm just going to call this one value. We probably want somewhere to capture like what's the product or service they're interested in. This may not be relevant to you, but I'm just going to do one, and we're going to use a multi-select option this time. And I'm going to call this service, or you could call it product. At Minaco, we offer multiple services. We offer Asana, we do Pipedrive, and Zapier. So I'm going to set up a drop-down field there. And I also want some way to be able to forecast and predict when are we going to close these opportunities? When do I think they're going to get across the line and sign up for our service? So for that, I'm going to create a new field using the date option, and we're going to call this expected close date. And we're going to be able to use that later on for sorting our tasks based on which ones are higher priority. And let's just do one more field. We'll do a single option select this time, and we're going to call this source. So where did this come from? I think this is a really useful piece of information to capture so that later on we can report and analyze where are we getting revenue from. Maybe people find us through a YouTube video, or it's from Google, or referral, or website, organic. We could put in a number of different options there. Let's just add LinkedIn so I can fill this in later and define where did this opportunity come from. So once I've set up those fields, if I go to this task again, you can see I've got this really structured, organized area where I can input key information. So I can put in john@email.com. I'll put in his number, +1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I can put in the value of the opportunity. So maybe this is a $5,000 deal. They are interested in maybe Pipedrive and Zapier. And I think this is going to close maybe before the end of the year, let's say end of next month. And John found us through YouTube. So you can see I've got a really clean, tidy way that I can input the key details related to this particular opportunity. And as you can see here, once I've got a few more prospects in my CRM, I can now use those fields to filter and sort my prospects. So maybe I want to sort them by value, and I want to see the highest value deals first. I can sort by value descending, and there you go. We can see the $8,500 deal at the top, the 5.5, and then the 2.5. So I'm always seeing the most valuable opportunities near the top. Or maybe I want to sort by expected close date. I could sort by date and put the ones that are coming up sooner. Actually, let's sort ascending. There we go. The ones that are coming up sooner. So this Michael Schofield deal is happening this month, this one in December, this one in January. I can prioritize and sort my deals based on that expected close date. I could also use these fields to filter my opportunities. So maybe I do a filter here and I use the service. So I say, let's look for any task where the service contains, let's say, Asana. So those are just my Asana opportunities now. And what I could even do, if I like this view, I like this filter that I've created, I could save this as a new tab up here. So it's going to put a new tab, and I could call this Asana Deals, and I could move that next to my sales pipeline. So I have these different customizable views that I can switch between. I've got all my opportunities, or I can look at just my Asana deals, and that way I can focus on specific types of opportunity. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. We've set up the CRM project, we've got sections or columns for the different stages that your prospects are going to move through, and we're capturing important information on the task, which we can use to sort and filter your opportunities. And if you use a spreadsheet right now, that's probably about as much as you're doing. I could finish the video right here. You could start with that and you could be off and away you go. But I want to show you some ways that we can really take this to that next level and how we can use some rules in Asana to help with your follow-up and really save you some time. Now, I work in sales, and something I make sure that I always do with every deal or opportunity that I'm working on is I define my next action. In other words, what is the thing that I need to do to move this deal or opportunity forwards? And in Asana, we can do that by creating subtasks. So I could set up a subtask to remind myself to follow up or book a meeting or send a quote. But rather than manually typing in my subtasks, we can use some rules to create the appropriate subtask based on the section that we move the task into. So we're going to go back to our Customise menu and go to Rules this time. And we're going to add a custom rule. Now, this will require you to have Asana's advanced subscription. If you're on Starter, you will be a bit more limited in terms of the rules that you can create. But if you're on Advanced, you can build rules using this interface. Now, the first thing we need to do is define our trigger. We have our triggers on the right-hand side. We can trigger rules to run when things like maybe our expected close date is changed or the service is changed. Or in this case, I'm going to do when a task is moved to a section. And I'm going to choose here when the section is, let's just say, needs defined, that when I move my task into that section, that's my trigger for this rule. I could put a check in here if I want to only run this rule on certain types of tasks, maybe with a certain service or source, but I'm going to skip that for now. I'm going to go to the Do This section where I can perform various actions, like I can change the assignee, change dates, or in this case, I'm going to create a subtask. And now we're going to say send quote. In fact, actually, let's do this a little bit smarter. Let's put a variable in here and let's use the task name. And then I'm going to do dash send quote. And it's going to become evident why I've chosen to do it that way in a sec. So we're going to do task name dash send quote. This is going to be due the same day. So on the trigger date, that's when I'm going to have this task be due. So the same day. And I'm going to have this be assigned to, and this time we're going to use a variable assignee. We're going to use the assignee of the trigger task. So whoever owns the parent task, that person is going to be assigned to this particular subtask. And so last thing I'm going to do is just rename this rule. I just like to make them a little bit more descriptive. Needs defined, create subtask. And let's publish our rule. So now, when I have a task, let's say like this one, so we've got Michael Schofield here, and I'm going to assign this to myself. I'm the owner. This is my deal or my opportunity that I'm following up on. You can see I don't have any subtasks yet. I can click and drag and move the parent task to needs defined. And if you watch down here, the rule is running. And then a second later, my task, Michael Schofield, send quote, or my subtask rather, has been created. It's due today, and it's assigned to me because I am the assignee of the parent task. Now, the reason I chose to put the person's name in the subtask here is just that when I go to my tasks at the top, if I go to my list view, you can see it actually says Michael Schofield, send quote in the actual name. I can see the parent task here, but I just wanted to make it a bit more visible, so it's a bit more obvious who this is for when I look at my task list. So you could repeat this process for every single section or stage of your pipeline. So I've done another rule here. Here's another one that I just created. So when we move the task to the offer sent section, we create another subtask to follow up. And this one, I've used a relative date where I've said this is due in 3 days after the trigger date. And again, assigned to the assignee of the parent task. So if you watch what happens when I run that rule, here's my parent task. I've already sent my quote, so that's been checked off. I've done that one now. I then move my task to offer sent and watch what happens. My rule runs, and a second or two later, Asana gives me the follow-up, in this case due on Saturday actually, which is in 3 days from now, assigned to me. Let me show you one more rule that I think is really useful, especially if you are going to use Asana as your CRM. This is one of the benefits of actually doing everything inside one tool. So I'll go back to my customize menu. Here's a rule that I conveniently created earlier. This one is triggered when a task status has changed to complete. So when we complete the task, I have two paths or conditional logic paths set up here. So first we check if the service field contains Asana. We convert the task to a project using a project template, and we're going to use our client project Asana template, and we're going to add that project to our portfolio, and I'm going to add Lindsay as our project manager as a member of the project. Otherwise, if the project contains Pipedrive as the service, we convert the task to a project using the Pipedrive template. So I can create different projects based on the logic within my task. So with that set up, let me show you how that one works. So here's my Michael Schofield task. I've got Asana set up as the service. I would probably have him in this waiting for payment section. And we've done our follow-up. We then collect payment. We mark the task as complete because we've now closed the deal. We've won this opportunity. My rule is going to run, and it will probably take a second, and Asana is going to create a new project from this task. So my rule has now run. The task shows as converted to project, and we can see a link up here to the project that was created from our template. I've just used a demo template. It's not really built out, but you can see it's got some sections and tasks in here, and my previous activities are still here if I need to refer back to those. So that's a really nice way we can transition from completing a task in our Sales CRM to now kicking off a full project in Asana. Now, the final thing you're going to want to get out of your CRM is some kind of reporting. You want to be able to understand how many deals have we closed, what's the value of those opportunities, and where are those deals coming from? How much revenue are we getting from different sources? Let me show you how we can create a dashboard with some simple reports in Asana. So at the top of my Sales CRM project, I have this dashboard tab. And when I open this is going to come up with some just default reports that show me information related to this project, how many completed tasks we have, overdue tasks, that kind of thing. I'm actually just going to go through now quickly and remove charts that I don't need. And actually, I'm going to keep this one here. Sum of value I find quite useful. If I edit this report here, I'm looking at what is the total value of the value field in my project. And I probably want to put a filter in here and only show tasks that are incomplete. Anything we've already closed, I don't want to count those. So we're going to rename this to current pipeline value open deals. So I can understand just what's the value of the current opportunities in my pipeline. And if I add a new chart here, let's set one up from scratch. I want to see the value of deals that we've already won. So I'm going to do this as let's leave it as a bar chart. But my x-axis, we're going to show as the month, and we're going to use task completion. So tasks completed per month, but we're going to change it from task count to value. So this is going to show the value of deals completed per month. So we're going to rename this to deals won per month. And you can see at the moment, it just shows 2,500 because of that Michael Schofield deal that we won before. So let's put that in there. I also want to be able to understand where is my revenue coming from. So let's do another chart, and let's do maybe this time, let's just do a donut just for fun. And my group, instead of doing, actually no, yes, let's leave that as source. But I only want to show, and actually we're going to change task count to value, and I only want to show tasks that are complete. So there we go. I can now see the value of deals won by source, so 2,500 from Google. So we're going to rename this to deals won by source, and we're going to save that there. And I'll just rearrange my dashboard a little bit to get this looking a bit better. So let's look at what happens if I complete another task. So if I come over here, this is an $8,500 deal, and this came from website. So if I move it to this final stage, let's put it in waiting for payment. and mark that as complete. So I've now completed that task. When I go back to my dashboard, this might take a minute, but it should update shortly. So there we go. I can now see I've won $11,000 worth of deals this month, and $8,500 has now come from the website. Let's just do one more for fun. Let's do another, number. And let's just show the average deal size. So we're going to do custom field value. This time we're going to swap it to average. And we're going to, again, filter our tasks or our report to look at only tasks that are complete. So we can put that on there. So now I've got our current pipeline value. And actually, let's rename this one average deal size. There we go. So I can just understand what's the average size of deals that I'm closing. So here, 5,500, which is the average of these two deals that I've already won. So there you go. That is a look at how to create a simple CRM inside Asana. I think this is a great option if you just want to keep everything inside one tool rather than signing up for a dedicated CRM. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment below. Or if you would like one-on-one help with Asana, or if you need a quote for your actual subscription, use the links in the description below to contact us. One more time, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.